Welcome to the Life Career Roadmap YouTube channel with a new episode with my friend Neha Shinghao. Welcome, Neha, to the Life Career Roadmap.
Thanks, Cema. Thanks so much for having me. I was looking forward to meeting you. Not like this, definitely in person, but happy to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you again.
Yeah.
So, Neha, do I say your name right, Neha, or people call you Neha? How you say your
Neha.
name in Indian?
Neha. So if you want to say Ney, Neha,
Neha?
Neha.
Neha, look at that. So, Neha, welcome to the Life Career Roadmap.
Thank you.
So, Neha, I just told people now that you are from India. So, let me know which part from India are you from?
So I'm from north of India. To give you perspective, where I come from is 6 hours from Delhi. So very north central.
Okay, it's a small city or a big city?
It was called the Manchester of the East. It's a big industrial city
Um,
called Kanpur.
okay. So, and I know that coming to Australia was not your first destination. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Where you have been before?
So I've lived in Ireland for over 12 years before I came to Australia in March 2015.
Hmm. And what brought you to Ireland?
My husband, I can blame him for everything.
Well, is he Indian as well, or he's Irish?
Oh, he's Indian.
India. Okay. So
Indian.
and then you moved to Ireland with him. So let's come back then to your early days as in India as a young professional. So what is your professional background?
So I started my career in sales in India. I qualified as for a business degree. So I had a master's in commerce and a postgraduate diploma in marketing management. I
Mhm.
was always very keen on the marketing side of things because I have a very creative brain and I like to do things my way. But funny enough, started in sales. It was a very hybrid role. I was doing a bit of everything, so I absolutely loved it.
Yes. And then you worked in India, and then your husband went to Ireland. And what was the motivation to go to Ireland?
So my would-be husband at that time was already working in Ireland.
Mm,
When we got married, I kind of just joined him.
okay. So,
Yeah.
and what is his background, his professional background?
So, oh my God, he's changed so many jobs. He was a hotel manager. He's from the hospitality background.
Mm.
And he was the general manager for a very boutique hotel in the countryside.
Oh, must be beautiful, like going to the countryside of Ireland and then having the very different atmosphere than you had in India.
Absolutely. I was blown. I was absolutely blown. Everything was so fresh and green. It was the smallest, prettiest, most beautiful, gorgeous little place I've ever lived in my life. I think I cried all the way from my flight in Dublin to when I landed in Perth. And I remember when I left for Ireland from India, I was like, yay, I'm going to meet my husband. I'm going to start my life. And my husband's like, you're embarrassing. You're crying so much. What's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm leaving my home.
So, and did you work there in Ireland, part of where you were?
So that's another story. When I went to Ireland, I was on a spouse visa.
Hmm.
So I couldn't legally work. Um, I did land a couple of interviews, but I couldn't work really because I was expecting my first child.
Oh.
And yeah, I was accepted for the job, but I couldn't take it because I was so close to my delivery date.
Hmm.
So they said, we'll talk to you in the next couple of years. And then recession hit Europe, and it was just hard to recruit, especially where we were living. It was a very small place. So the jobs weren't as many. Um, yeah, I struggled in that sense for a long time, but I could never sit still. So I did a lot of volunteering work. Like I had a four-page CV with the amount of volunteering I did.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of stuff, but
Hmm.
it wasn't paid.
Okay. What kind of volunteering job did you do there?
So I was working, sorry, I wasn't working. I was volunteering for my
You were
husband's.
working as a
Yes.
volunteer. Yeah.
So doing marketing and events for his hotel, um, doing consulting for businesses like Donegal Rapeseed Oil, doing events for other small businesses. They had a little footy club there. I did some marketing for them. There was a newspaper, a local newspaper. I did some work for them, redesigning their columns and doing some editorial. So I did a bunch of different things. Whatever took my fancy, I donated my time to the cause.
Oh, that's nice. And then you had your second child also in Ireland, right?
Yes. I had my second child in Ireland as well.
Yes. So at any point in your life, you thought you'd be living in Ireland forever, or you had this kind of conversation between you and your husband that you may go to somewhere else?
Oh no, I thought I was rooted in Ireland. I did not want to leave. I was absolutely like, this is it. I love it here. And especially when I had my second one, um, that was my first home, my own house. I had both my children there, and I loved all the people who had made me their family. I have some gorgeous friends. Um, yeah, I thought that was it. I never thought I was going to move.
So it was an easy transition for you from India to Ireland. So you felt welcomed and then felt that you'd be there for the rest of your life.
Yes, yes. The people are so amazing. I'm still in touch with almost all my friends. Um, yeah, Ireland's like one third of my heart.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
live in that space sometimes. I feel at home. I was very comfortable. I absolutely enjoyed my time. But I think there came a time after I had my second one that we decided to move. And my husband was like, we can either go to Dublin or do you have any thoughts? I was like, if you want to move, let's just move then. Because I was ready for more opportunity. And I was like, hmm, Dublin's still small. So moving from a very tiny place to a smaller place, I would rather move to a bigger place. And then we landed in Perth. Um, one, this is a couple of reasons why we moved to Perth. One, because my husband's sister was here,
Mhm.
and two, because of the opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
And interestingly, when I came here, I didn't know that much about Australia, but I was told Perth is the smallest, largest town in Australia. And I laughed and I was like, what does that mean?
And now you know.
Absolutely do.
So, and coming to Australia, so if you're two kids and your husband, so did your husband apply for any jobs before you guys decide to come, or you came as let's see what's there out there for us?
Second option. We just came here. We packed our bags and we just came.
Okay. And how was the situation arriving in a space that you don't know anyone or your sister-in-law, but not knowing the system, the culture, just what you heard from your sister-in-law? So how was for you and your family?
It was a bit daunting at the beginning, to be honest, because, and again, I say this tongue in cheek, when I moved from India to Ireland, I didn't feel any of this anxiety or anything. It was like it was meant to be. I plugged myself up from India, moved to Ireland, and that was it. Happy as, like I just fit in. But
Mhm.
coming to Australia has been a different story. It was daunting. People were different. It was a bigger place. I didn't feel very welcome initially. Didn't have any friends. When you come to a smaller place, everyone knows everyone.
Mhm.
But when you come to a place like Perth, unless you knew someone, you knew no one.
And you are no one. You're just a
I
number.
was like, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then how was the journey arriving, having all this loneliness that you don't know anyone, that you don't know the system? How was for you to get back to where you left? Like, because you left Ireland, but you had a different life as being working voluntarily, uh, but back to your career in India. So at any point you thought coming back to that career or reinventing yourself, doing something else?
Yes, I always had that thought. This is why I kept myself busy to keep my skill sets alive.
Mhm.
Um, so I started my own marketing company in Ireland, to be honest, just before I left, because I wanted to get back to something. And having two children was just harder to get into a proper job. I thought if I have my own business, my own consultancy, it'll be workable. But before it could take off, we decided to move. So I had a few clients, but I couldn't really um, take it to its potential. I couldn't reach my potential. So I left it midway and kind of packed my bags and came here. Um, so in that sense, yeah, I have had a bit of a roller coaster.
Mhm.
I always wanted to be a working woman, um, but as life would have it, it was not meant to be for a very long time. So I think when I started work after, you know, going through Kaleidoscope, it was almost 17 years between my first real job. It was huge.
And it was amazing because 17 years between your first job that you had as a sales, is very close to marketing, and you landed in a job that was marketing related, despite of the gap that you had. So tell me more about, because I remember when you came to Kaleidoscope, I asked you, what do you want to do? And you said, I don't know. I want to do arts. And I have this background in marketing and commerce. So I don't know. And I said to you, I cannot help you if you don't know. Gave
I
you a
remember
homework.
I was a bit broken when I came and saw you, but I saw logic in what you were saying because of the expertise you have. Um, I think what you meant to say was if you don't have a vision for yourself, I can't help you. That's
Mhm.
how I saw that. So I went back, I rewired my brain. I said, I need to know what I'm doing. I can't lose hope just yet. And then I reapplied to the program, and then I was accepted. And then he held my hand and took me gently through the journey. That was fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. And then you got this job. So tell us more about this job that you had because you were looking for something that you could dedicate time to your family and have time also to develop yourself and coming back to this uh, to cross this big gap that you had out of the work or the marketing field.
Um, it was very scary to step out of my comfort zone because, like I said, I was volunteering initially and I was doing my own hours and um, I found my artist inside me and I was selling paintings and I was really enjoying all of that kind of leisure time, doing what I want sort of thing. So when I heard about Kaleidoscope, I wanted to bring all of that thing together, but that also meant I was losing my focus and vision of where I wanted to be and what you had to offer. But coming back to your original question, how did I land in my first job and what was it all about? Um, so going through the program, I think I found some bit of my confidence and I started applying for jobs. Um, I applied to this company called Mail Makers, and immediately they called me for an interview. And I remember I spoke to you about it, and you practiced some skills with me. Uh, I can't imagine how many times I must have written my answers and practiced in front of the mirror. It was just one of those things.
Mhm.
Then I had a second interview with them, with the manager, and Yeah, they liked me. That was my first in the door.
So it was you were leading the mail campaigns for them. So they, I suppose
Yes,
they
I was a
had.
campaign manager, and initially I only had like 4 hours a day because I was so headstrong that I wanted to keep it flexi working because my children were still little. My little one was 3, 4, I
Mhm,
think. Yeah. And it was just hard to balance because we didn't have family
mhm.
and I didn't not want to be there for my children.
Yeah,
But yeah, as I grew in confidence and I learned the skills and I actually started working, I found it easier to juggle everything. And my manager was really, really supportive and he really liked me. Um, he stepped me up to another role. He opened another company called Zen Fundraising, and he offered me to be a client success manager. So I was working as a campaign manager for Mailmakers and a client success manager for Zen at the same time.
Look at that. After 17 years, you got so much on your hands, and then you're just spreading yourself out with your skills.
So I'm absolutely grateful. People take so many things for granted, and I've had to fight for every single thing. I
Mhm,
don't take it lightly. Um, I'm proud of myself for sticking it out for 17 years and not giving up.
mhm.
And I'm really happy that I am where I am. But I wouldn't just give it, say, all of luck. Yes, definitely there was some luck there, but I think I really put in a lot of hard work and effort to get here as well.
That's right. Otherwise, you could not get the results that you just got, right?
Yeah.
And I remember a point in time when you contact me because you wanted to give back to the community and you were organizing some events and you were putting something together. So explain more about.
So I also head a not-for-profit here, which is a part of a bigger global not-for-profit. So I've always been very much community oriented. Even when I was doing my volunteer work in Ireland, I was doing a lot with the community. So when I came here, nothing changed on that side of things, and I still wanted to give back. So that's when I approached you, saying we're trying to work on this project, trying to bring more people like myself on board, and would you be able to mentor them? If you remember, that's the conversation we had.
Yes.
And that's in the pipeline, and I will tee up with you after this conversation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm still very active with that organization,
Mhm,
and I enjoy doing that. Giving back has always been a part of who I am.
mhm,
Even when I came back to Kaleidoscope as a mentor last year, I felt grateful that I could give something back to someone, and I knew that I have walked that journey before, and I knew what obstacles I had faced as a newcomer and a migrant. So I thought if I could share my experiences and a bit of my learning with someone, if it would help them, that would be absolutely amazing.
That's right. So when you came to Kaleidoscope as a mentor, because you had the criteria that you had to have at least 2 years of experience in your field in Australia to be able to be a mentor. So when you cross that line, say, hey, Neha is ready to come back. And I knew that you were very into help with the community and I know that you are very kind as well, so to be a very nice mentor and I believe that would be possible for you, and I was very happy when you accepted the invite to come and become a mentor. But you were a proxy mentor before as well, or no, just a mentor straight away?
Just a mentor straight away.
Straight away, yes. So and now have you been mentoring people as well after that? Did you like the experience?
I loved the experience, but since I've started my new role recently, life's become a bit demanding.
Oh yeah.
Full-time job, 2 children. um, other responsibilities, plus the not-for-profit that I run. It's pretty much full on.
Yes. So that's something that when you think about mentors coming to our lives and we have the support of someone, is always having this consciousness that a mentor is there to help us and they are dedicating a time to us. And sometimes, most of the time, in case of the community services, they are volunteers. And it's a time that they are not charging for that, but they are giving back to the community. So it's very important that people are aware of this, right? How important it is to acknowledge someone else's time that they are dedicating to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to come back as a mentor again, if you would allow me.
Yes.
But but I would just like to find my feet in this new role and be able to juggle all my responsibilities the way I would like and find that time, because I don't want to just do it and not be able to give my 100%.
Yes. So in this new role, you have been there since when? It's recent, right? Has been
Yes,
few months that you have been there.
almost 6 months now.
Oh, okay. So and it's so many things to learn, I believe, right? So for
I
you,
learn something new every day and I love it.
oh, that's so nice. It's so nice. So let's go back to your arts.
Yes.
When did you start your art, like being knowing that you are creative, that you're enjoying the visual, because you are very visual, right?
Yes.
So tell me when all this creativity came out to you,
Um,
or came out from you, because it was in you and then you had to be aware of.
yes. So I was always very in tune with my creativity. Um, I think my first real in my face experience with it was when I was in year 10.
Mhm.
I did a bunch of paintings and I got them framed. I didn't think much about it because then he got busy in studies and everything. But I had a realization in my head that this is something. And I always carried it through. When I did my graduation, I also, like, I've been a bit of a mad person, I think. I've never done one thing at one time. I was doing a textile and fashion designing course at the same time. I was so flat out. I was working on my project. So I kept the creativity going. In Ireland, I just happened to bump into one of my friends, and she was going to this art club. And she says, "Why don't you come with me? You're doing nothing much and you're looking for a job, and that's not going to happen." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll just come." So I bought new stuff, my art stuff, and I went along with her. I enjoyed it so much. I absolutely loved it. I started going there every week and started, you know, um, my passion again. Um, yeah, it was it was like finding myself. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I was doing exhibitions and I was doing art workshops. Um, yeah, it was a different life.
So let me ask something. When you had the decision that now you need to be a professional, because there's a pressure in there that we have to be a professional, we have to have a job. Uh, what made you to decide to go differently instead of getting your arts and say, I wanted to be creative and work with my creativity in art? You went to marketing, that's very creative. What, why not arts?
That was a really hard decision for me because I was starting to get really good in what I was doing, and I was making, my paintings were selling, and I was doing exhibitions, and people were liking my work. But when it came to my career, this is not what I had imagined for myself. That was not on my roadmap when
Mhm.
I started thinking about what I want to do. This was a hobby. And because I couldn't be on the path that I wanted to be, I took this up
Mhm.
and it filled a good few years of my life. And I absolutely loved doing it. But
Mhm.
I wanted to be a professional. And I never had the qualification in art. Like it was all self-taught.
Mhm.
So much as I enjoyed it, it was not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Yes, as a hobby, absolutely. And even now, my dream is once I retire, when that happens, I will open my own art gallery. I still have that.
Okay, so that was my next question. Do you think that you come in the future when you're retired? Because most of the time
Yes.
we leave the things that we love to do when we retire, right? So instead of doing it together.
Even now, like I have a couple of canvases unfinished that I pick up every so often when I really need a break from everything. I Yeah, I go back to my art. It grounds me.
Any of your kids, they have this kind of a path as well. So you see them some traits of arts.
Yes, my daughter is very creative. Now she's busy with her studies, but my son, oh my God, he's even better than me.
Really?
I love that he's so creative and I love how he expresses himself. And like, I think I'm more bound by what I and what others perceive as norm. He
Mhm.
would not stop his creativity, he would just flow with it.
Really?
I absolutely love that, how freely he gives himself to his imagination. I love the way he just runs with it.
Oh, that's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. So, he's now in primary school.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well done. Well done. So I can imagine how happy you feel when you see him creating something and being using all his power that he has
Yes.
inside of himself to do things in and not being like shut it and say, no, you cannot do it. Do it. Use
Yeah.
it.
I
Ah.
think he's got more colors and more materials than I had.
So then that doesn't mean that he's better than you, probably because he has more support and more.
I think I see a little bit of myself in him because I don't get as much time to do that. So when I see him doing that, it's like a part of me doing that with him.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, Neha, tell me one thing now regarding all your journey in Australia with your new career. So, after you saw yourself that it's possible to be here in Australia, how did you see your future? So, because in Ireland you thought you'd be there and then had the chance to come back to Australia. Is Australia home now? Is the 1/3 of your heart?
It's two-thirds of my hearts now.
2/3.
I have a little bit of Ireland and I have a lot more of Australia. No, yes, in the last few years, I've found my place. I've made friends. I've made my connections. I'm happier. My children are doing well. We are happy as a family. We've got our house. There's a lot more going for us now. I don't feel as unsettled or insecure. I think that all contributes to one being happy, rooted, and satisfied. So I think
Mhm,
I reached that place. I see myself living here for the rest of my life.
mhm. Yes. So and you said like you feel rooted now. What happened? Because one of the workshops there, when I talk with the mentees, I talk about the roots of a tree. I have a tree and I show the door in the middle of the trunk of the tree. One side of the tree has a very strong root, and the new one is so splitted and not so strong and shorter. And normally what I say is a metaphor saying most of the time as newcomers, we look what we left behind, what is back home, but you never feel that this is home now and we are not certain about our future and we resist a lot to not be grounded and not have the roots where we are. So what made you feel this way? What was the little key that turned and said, well, that's it? Or took long to say, yes, that's it?
It definitely took me longer to say that as compared to what I felt in Ireland. In Ireland, it was like love at first sight. This is it, bang. Here, it took me a lot longer.
Mhm.
I can't say why. I don't know. I never thought about it like that, but it did take me longer. I think it's to do with people,
Mhm.
I would say, because in Ireland, people are so warm. They were so loving. I'm not saying they're not like this here. They are, but they have different ways of showing their love. Irish people are very much like the Indian people.
Mm.
Um, I felt like that. I always felt like connected to them. I still do. Um, I think after 12 years of living there, I considered myself part Irish.
Mhm.
I had a funny accent. I've lost everything now. I think I have a weird accent, neither Indian nor Irish nor Aussie. It's just somewhere in between.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't think I can put a finger on what was it that made me feel rooted here. Yeah, I really can't.
But do you feel more yourself now that you are not just fighting with everything that external that you are overthinking? You feel more you, that you can be more.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I think finding a good job gives you a lot of stability. And because I had fought really long and really hard to get to where I am, finally having it in my grasp, kind of, I think, yes, maybe that was one of the deciding factors for me that I found what I was looking for
Mhm.
here.
Ah, that's right. So you found it. So you made feel like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, when we
Yeah.
search, and we don't see the meaning of our search, when we don't face what gives us that kind of validation of what you want. And then we still thinking and searching and feeling something is missing. So you got
Yes.
that point that now you know what you have.
I
That's
think
all.
so. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's a
wonderful.
blessing. It's a
It's a
blessing
blessing.
because, yeah, because a lot of people go through their whole life without realizing they have it, what they wanted. Yes. And thank you for making me realize that. Like the pennies just dropped again. So thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, I normally say to my clients, my mentees, what you're looking for, you have inside of yourself, but you haven't had the chance to really face it, look into your eyes and see what is in there. Uh, because believe or not, sometimes we avoid success for some reason, for some situations. And it's much easier to be in that uncomfortable situation that becomes comfortable. And then facing what we need to face to get where you want to be, it's a lot of work to do. It's responsibility, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then responsibility is a big word. So you need to face it. You need to take uh, the responsibility of your results. And then you need to invest the time, your emotions, uh, the money to be where you want to be, not just waiting for it. Nothing come as for free.
True. True. You give something, you get something.
You get it's why you invest, it's what you get as a result. So, and you have been working very hard to be there. And you also have been very involved with the Indian community, right? In
Yes.
Australia.
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
Tell me more about, because I see you with all the festivals and all the celebrations. You are always in front of the big celebrations and even traveling to go. And tell us more about it.
So the not-for-profit that I mentioned I work for, that's what it is that keeps me busy. Um, it it's called VHP, and it is to bring people back to their Indian roots, culture, and connect them to their values.
Mhm.
So a lot of work that I do is around the festivals, the events, bringing people to them, kind of creating that same vibe so they don't miss those things that used to do in India. Um, So obviously, because I'm the forefront of it and I'm planning all of this, I'm always involved. And a lot of people know me now because of the work that I do with them and for the community. So I get invited to all these events as well. So I don't know where you saw my pictures, but yeah.
I saw once, I believe you were in Sydney or you were traveling. I don't know if you were, or the event was in Sydney, you comment something and it was something big. I mean, because the thing is, I'm not going to Facebook as much. So I sometimes go very quickly and I see things but I'm not there all the time. So, and it was something that I saw that you were more involved with the community. The time when I was working with Kaleidoscope that you had to, I was posting as well, replicating the events that we was sharing. So and I was sharing too. So I had the chance to see something. Yeah, and you invite me for some um, events here in Perth too. I didn't have the opportunity to go,
Yes.
but I want to go to one of them because they are beautiful.
This year, you will get the invite.
Good.
And I hope I see you there.
Sure, I will be there. The other thing, because my name, it's a very common name in India and also in Persian, right? Like for the Lebanese, the Arabic countries, they speak Arabic speakers countries, they have the same name. Despite my name is Cema, but sounds Cema, right? It's so common in India and in the Persian language. So and that's it. So when I dress up as Indian because of my color and everything, people ask me, "Are you Indian?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And I had a friend of mine, and she one day she said, "Do you want to dress up as an Indian?" I said, "Yes." And everyone, they were sure I was Indian. But the time when I opened my mouth, oh, I'm not Indian.
You
So
could say you're from the Indian descent, and they would never know.
that's right. So I need to bring some story about it. To be able to say, I would say, I don't know, somewhere. Yes, yes.
So
So, and tell me, do you miss any food from India that you replicate here in Australia?
lots of it, especially the street food.
Really? Oh, you are very strong in street food. Which ones are your favorite?
I don't know if you've had those water balls, they're called Golgappa.
Never had.
You have to try them. You absolutely have to try them.
Do you
So
make
they're
them?
like these, I do. You can actually buy
Okay.
ready-made. You come to my place and we'll do it.
Okay. So, but explain so people know what it is about.
So this is like they're like puffed crackers. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like round balls, like
Mm-hmm.
that size. And you crack them open from the top. You fill it with boiled potato or whatever filling you want. And then you pour in it the most delicious liquid ever. And that's I don't know how to explain. It's sour, it can be sweet, it can be whatever way you want it. And you
Mm-hmm.
put the whole thing in your mouth and you crunch it. It pops in your mouth and the whole liquid, the whole, oh my God.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
just watching thinking about it.
That's wonderful. That's something now that I want to do because I did the challenge for the barbecue, but now I start cooking once a week and sharing my cooking with my audience on Instagram to because we learned so many things here in Australia about different nationalities and dishes and everything, and we change the way we see food here in Australia. I don't know if happened to you in Ireland, but here in Australia is the way you see food, right? So for me, I have learned so many different ways of eating things, and of course, visiting other countries too. But when you come here and you get friends that are from a place like in India, and you have different regions with different dishes. So
Yes.
it's not one thing for the whole country, right? It's like very peculiar that you go in a small city, a small town, that you have different ways of eating. So I
Yeah.
learned everything here in Australia with my living here for 25 years and getting to know people and get to know their stories about food. So I love
Wow.
food. I love
I
cooking.
can tell. I follow you on your stories and I'm like, she's cooking again, the barbecue queen.
That's right. I even need an Indian dish and a vegetarian as well on the barbecue to show that everything is possible.
Absolutely is.
So now tell me now, not tell me, but tell someone else. Me too. Um, Someone who is in Perth, a newcomer, who is struggling with their lives here, that they could not find themselves yet, that they could not get connected with their career or discover a new career. What of advice or suggestion would you give them?
That's hard because everyone's different and everyone has their own thought process and their own journey. So one answer fit all would not work. But for me, coming to Kaleidoscope, meeting you, your career coaching, your guidance really helped me. Um, but I think before we do all of that, we need to internalize and think about what we want to do. If we don't have a roadmap, if we're not clear in what we want, we will never get it.
That's right.
So clarity of thought and a direction, kind of, and then somebody to hold your hand makes it perfect.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's fun. Yeah. So, and for someone like you have migrated twice, so one that you thought was the migration for life and then moving again. So, someone who wants to get this adventure in their lives and maybe moving for forever as they think it would be, what would be the advice or suggestion that you give to people wanting the same experience?
Be prepared. We came we came here like, just packed our bags and came. Maybe because we knew we had family, we had that little bit um, of a satisfaction that if we do go there, we're not alone. But for people, some of them may not have that luxury. So be prepared, know what you're getting into. Maybe have a job first before you leave your roots or wherever you are, because life can be harsh. And a small setback can lead to bigger setbacks. And you never know. You don't want to be in that situation. So always be prepared. Think 2 steps ahead and then come back to where you are and see, can you reach there? If everything looks good, if everything looks, yes, you can do it, go for it.
Mm, that's right. Oh, thank you for that. So my last question to you, because I know you need to go to pick up your kids at school. It's about your kids. How they see themselves now as Australians, because your older one had probably has memories from Ireland more than the little one. So how was the transition for your kids?
My daughter found it a bit hard because she had her friends and she was settled, and she was in primary school when we moved her. So when we came here, she started between year 3 and year 4, and everyone like knew everyone else, and she was a newcomer. The language was a bit different for her. The culture was a big difference from what she had experienced in Ireland. So for her to settle initially was daunting. I remember she used to cry so many times, broke my heart. Like I found it hard, but what she was going through was a different level.
Mm.
So her, it was, I found a little bit difficult, but she found her way. And it took her a bit of time, but she settled in. And she's got some great friends now, and she's enjoying it. For my little one, he was a toddler. He was not even 1 year old when we moved. So all he's known is Australia. For him, it's no different.
Okay, yes. And they are well rooted with the Indian culture as well. So because you live this experience with them, so
Very much so. So they're Indian at heart, but
mhm,
they've embraced the Australian culture and the multiculturalism that it provides wholeheartedly.
that's right. So it's wonderful. Oh, so Neha, thank you very much for coming to the channel and for sharing your journey, your life career journey with the audience. And I'm sure many people will relate your story to their own stories because it's how we see ourselves through others. And then we take the time to think about what people share to reevaluate ourselves. So thank you very much for coming and give your genuine journey, or sharing your genuine journey with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for keeping me in your thoughts and keeping in touch and remembering me and asking me to join you here. Um, I've always felt this connection with you, always. So I feel really grateful to have that connection going as we progress through our different journeys. And I wish you all the best for all your endeavors because I know you're such a great person. You're trying to help people. And if there's anything I can ever do, I will always do it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sure you come because as a mentor or giving even a talk to our mentees to explain something, especially now in your new fields that you are working. So maybe people want to know more about, and you are the person now that can share that knowledge with them.
Yes, absolutely would love to do that.
Thank you. So thank you very much for watching this episode with Neha. And remember to subscribe. It's just like put this little bell to the corner to remind you of the next episodes. So see you next. Bye bye.